'Twas a warm spring night, a playful breeze flowing through the concrete jungle, juxtaposed to the widespread panic of the ever creeping disease. It is on this night that two collegiate families clash in battle against one another, at each other's throats. The outcome of this duel will determine who falls, a tragedy to be remembered, and who lives on to take up arms against the lords of CA within the ceaseless war of Open League Spring 2020 Week 6. I am Coinman1863, joined by Blue Card today, and we'll see a thrilling match between Elon University and Stony Brook D1. How you doing, Blue Card?
Uh, After that intro, going man, I am much better. I'm really excited to see this game here. It's definitely going to be a very interesting one. Before we hop in, just a quick little talk here about the standings of these two teams. This is the Division 10 game, Week 6, as said before. We have Elon versus Stony Brook tonight. The first map we're going to be seeing will be Clubhouse, but this is definitely it's going to be a hard fight for Stony Brook here. They are currently 5th in their division, still down a game. This is the game that'll catch them up with the rest of the teams in their division, but they need at least a tie to get that single point to put them back in the top half of their division to qualify for the semifinals coming up.
Sounds like we're going to be in for one heck of a time tonight, as we're already jumping quickly into our bans here, and our first two bans are going to be Maverick and Monty, which makes sense on Clubhouse because Maverick is very powerful, especially when trying to do these CCTV hold. Our first defensive ban here is Mira. Pretty bog standard as far as...
Yeah, nothing too crazy coming out here. This last ban here could throw us in for a loop, but with the Echo as our last and final ban, nothing really to write home about just yet.
Just doing exactly what's expected, because it was either going to be that or Maestro, depending on what people feel that day. So we're going to be round one here with Elon defending and SBU attacking, and they're going to be doing CCTV Cash as their first defensive round.
It's definitely a very good first sight. I know a lot of teams kind of teeter-totter between Basement and Cash, both very good sites. One a little bit easier. I would say Basement's just generally a little bit easier, but depending on the strategies and if teams are more comfortable roaming or not will dictate whichever way a map can go. So looking at loadouts here, we are now in the 6-pick phase, so nothing too drastic can happen. We're seeing a nice fair spread, a couple really nice 6 picks. Elon opting for the Jaeger, a pretty pertinent operator and trying to hold Cash, and it looks like SBU is going to be taking a Capitao to try to get Bandit off that Cash wall.
And to me, it's mildly surprising some form of information today. I'll give a 6-pick off of the market, and that's just mildly surprising to me. I guess they didn't hold Garage well enough without the extra information, or preventing all the information to be gathered. So this is definitely going to be an interesting way to see how this ends up happening.
Yeah, another interesting note that hasn't been mentioned is now that we are in week 6 of CEA here, actually both Wamai and Cali are allowed, so we could be seeing either team picking one or the other here, and I'd be interested to see it. There was no Thatcher ban, so SBU will be taking a Thatcher, but if Thatcher does get banned, there is that opportunity to fall back onto the Cali, as her gadget does about the same thing. But with the two hard breachers here, it looks like Stony Brook is going to go for a pretty standard attack on Cashiers. It looks like Zilk's going to try to drone and push below to try to get that bandit off the wall. A nice multi-dimensional push coming out already.
Yeah, and just a quick note, that actually has been changed to wait until playoffs happen.
Really?
Because right now in this week, currently, because not everyone has it available, you have to pay dollars to get it for the first week. So we're playing that party right now. And you see the Thermite coming, the Thatcher coming out, he has to start if he can properly manage that wall. Does he use the wrong one? He did! He took the wrong wall, then he gets killed by the Thermite charge. Oh boy.
Oh, not a great start from Elon here, just barely mishearing the exothermic placement, but then actually falling to it as well is definitely going to end up hurting Elon. But with the Maestro and Ella on the board, they definitely have some time to buy here with those really solid gadgets coming out, both the Evil Eyes and the Grismonts. One thing to note, that garage wall is soft in between balcony and server, so Maestros might have a bit of a difficult time holding garage balcony, but not quite yet, as we see another pick coming out from SBU. That'll be the Thatcher onto the Ella, and well, now SBU's got the 5-3 man advantage right now, but Abatu on the Jaeger, going to be trying to even it out just a little bit with a nice pick onto the Hibana from construction there.
Slightly missing the crosshair of Adu, so now we have someone actually on site behind me. Actually has the diffuser too, as we see Shelby take out DJ here, as they're just trying to get rid of that Maestro so that they have a good opportunity to plant, as I do believe Maestro is still... Oh no, Maestro is just getting killed. Now they finally planted here, and now it's just Abatu stuck on the side there, and Spitz rounding from being in cast.
Yeah, the nice flame coming out. Abatu's going to find another. Now it's just down to Abatu. Is the Thermite frags? Oh no, that's Abatu gone. It's down to just Spitz now on the Vigil, finding the Thermite, and he's now left in a 1v2. Capital versus Capital and Sophia, both really strong gadgets. Going to try to jump into Garage to find the frag on Sophia, but she in turn is going to find the frag, and that's going to be round 1 under SPU's belt.
I think that was a really good effort. I think it was just foiled by the fact that they accidentally bandited the wrong wall. Outside that, I think that was a really good try in a reasonable bit, in a very reasonable.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if Bandit thought he had that exo down. He may have thought it was in the middle of the wall, so his wire would have broken it, and that's why he stuck it. Or maybe just came down right to the wire. But that early pick, a nice freebie there for can't aim. Well, you don't have to aim if you're just going to frag with your exo charge.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to try it again, except this time with a Valkyrie, to give them a little bit more of a view outside that they didn't have before. And that Hibana is going to be swapped to a IQ, which is a very reasonable 6-pick considering what they see on the defensive side. Also important to note, that was the first instance we've seen lately of the new explosion implementation for breach charges and exothermic charges.
As many bombs as they can.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It's a lot. It's mainly to be utilized through soft walls, taking a little bit more damage through soft walls. But it definitely nice opening pick. It was a great pick to start this game in its entirety. A nice exothermic pick. You don't usually get to see that. But here we see Elon again going to try to opt for cash, coming down pretty close to the wire there. Just a couple mistakes. They think that they're going to be able to bring this back. Instead bringing a Valkyrie instead of the Ella, getting some more intel, probably going to try to deny the plant from below. Definitely a good call. Volk is always a solid pick.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be playing a little bit more downstairs, which also prevents that really easy entry by the Sophia downstairs that they had last time. It looks like that camera's going to get a good solid view onto where that Thermite will be when the bandit is going to try and bandit trick that wall, giving him just a little bit more accuracy onto which panel to actually bandit charge.
Yeah, interestingly enough, though, Stony Brook is not going to bring the Hibana this time, as they didn't get Garage open last time, so they got the attack perfectly fine, so why get it this time? We see both the Sophia and maybe the Thatcher trying to push down stock below to try to get this Vigil out, but thanks to his cloaking ability there, it's going to be a little bit harder to spot him out and really get him out from under.
Yeah, and they think he's actually closer inside stock, whereas we know because of the magic of Observer that he's actually on the other side, and since his ability has a radius that affects the drones, they're not really sure exactly where he is.
Yeah, we see a flame from the Capital bolt trying to get the Bandit off the wall, but not quite far enough over. His Bandit's going to be able to get the battery on the wall, but thankfully due to the second fire arrow coming out here will get him off the wall, and the server wall will be opened here. Maestro holding Garage Belt, looking at those cams, making sure no one's pushing, but so far Stony Brook has a pretty solid foothold as they're also pushing down below in cash.
A bomb has been located.
just taking their sweet time here. Zoph going to be using some of her impacts from below, trying to root some of the defenders out from Cash. But here we see Spitz on the Vigil slowly pushing up, making sure not to get too aggressive on this pick here. Slowly but surely trying to find something, but Zoph is just playing underneath with her head looking straight up. Spitz, if he decides to swing, could have a pretty nice pick here, but nothing just yet. Meanwhile, in Garage, I believe that was Can't Aim droning, trying to get this Maestro out. He will be spotted out on cams, but thankfully, Capital had to use both flame arrows on the server wall, so they won't be able to be utilized on Balcony. Well, Stony Brook is looking kind of stalled out here. They have both Evil Eyes and Velks to contend with, and they just need to start pushing in, which Zofia does. And she finds the frag onto Bandit, who's on Cash Stairs, and finds another onto Valkyrie, but some nice response from CJ and Spitz as they take out IQ and Thermite, bringing it back to an even 3v3, sorry. Zofia very low, gonna be still trying to push below.
Yeah, we have about 20 seconds left, so they're going to have to do really fast and hard push in this 3v3 situation. And Batu getting good coverage upstairs. And Shelby comes in and takes out CJ, just walking right into sight as he's still got limited coverage. And they're trying to plant now. As he gets eyes on multiple, Batu manages to nab one, gets two onto Medican. Now we're in a 2v1 situation with 4 seconds left. Now we're in a 1v1. Will we be fast enough to find the pick? And no. Nor not able to find the second human to be able to shoot, and the good old Jaeger running away and hiding.
Yeah, thanks to that barb on Garage Stair, slowing him down just ever so slowly, not giving him the chance to even try to refrag that and try to at least get that round back. Overall, really good push, but the defense playing it very passive, just holding angles, waiting for the attack to push in. Really bought him lots of time, and that's really what won him the round there in the end.
Yep, and now we're going down to Church Arsenal, which is the other particularly common site here. And we see a Mozzie, Kaid, Vigil, Alibi, and Jaeger, the Kaid being a particularly hard tell that they're going down to the basement, aside from traditional convention.
Yeah, well, I personally like playing Cade on Cash too, but it is usually a nice telltale for basement. Alibi as well can kind of be off-putting, but you can never be sure, unless sites are locked, of course, and well, the only site that is locked is Cash. So a nice basement hold going to be coming out from Elon. Again, some pretty similar ops, this time opting to stick on the Mozzie, try to get some intel denial out, or even turn the drones over to their favor and get some intel for the defenders here.
Yep, and Mozzie's using a super shorty to figure out to make his extra rotational without using his impacts, as we actually see Alibi not bringing impacts, but instead a deployable shield, which is definitely an interesting choice. I'm very curious as to where they're going to use that, especially considering Alibi is usually the character who tends to rotate a lot more.
I know a really solid spot is in dirt, but I don't know if Elon is going to opt to hold in dirt. With Mav off the board, you really don't have to watch dirt. You can just listen for either an exothermic or the Kairos pellets to go off. It doesn't look like they're quite going to play it there. SBU, though, going to be trying to root these defenders out. It doesn't look like Elon has many roamers just yet. There's Alibi roaming all the way up top, and she might have some help from Vigil and Mozzie if they do decide to rotate up. She will be droned out fairly quickly and is probably going to apt to back off quite quickly.
Yeah, she ended up getting 2 drones on her way back through and the routing up here as we see the Zofia coming in and Shelby trying to clean out the Alibi of Spitz, who just rotates back downstairs. And it looks like they are not going to try to impact her by the looks of it. I don't know. Can you just pan over to Yummy for a second to see if he still has his impacts? And then we'll see if he's going to try to attempt. Yeah, he's still going to attempt to impact Trick. He looks like holding under the Kaid.
Yeah, a kind of interesting strat coming out here from Elon, opting for the full turtle. The Vigil definitely a smart pick because he can be cloaked and he can appear to be upstairs even when he is downstairs because, as you mentioned, his gadget is a radius of effect. So it's just going to give the attackers something to worry about. Prismas as well, just trying to get the attacks to slow down. Like, they have to be a lot more careful pushing this and just waste time.
Yep, and it seems like we're in that point as Kant manages to take out Spitz as he's trying to do a late rotate to get back up stairs to try and do a back flank. As we're now down to about a minute 10 here, they don't have a lot of time to actually try and execute this, as we're in a 4v5 here with this sliver of health taken off of can't aim. And we're going to see exactly what happens. It looks like the Mozzie taking effect here. May have even taken that drone. Not entirely sure how they show that. But it looks like they're going to try and creatively use the thermite and see if he can get it right on the edge where the Kaid doesn't happen. It doesn't look like they'll be able to do that fast enough with 45 seconds left in the round.
Yeah, really interesting tactic here. If you place the exothermic charge on the soft floor next to the hatch, the range it opens will actually end up opening the hatch. The only downside is that it can be shot through the soft floor, but unfortunately Elon is not going to be quick enough for that. And while that's going on, Metacant pushes down and finds the frag onto the Cade, giving SBU even that much more of an advantage, as Shelby is just going to keep on applying pressure. She finds the frag onto Mozzie, leaving it down to just Colonel and Yummy. Well, just down to Yummy, as Shelby finds yet another, and it's now down just to the Vigil under Kitchen Hatch, going to be trying to hold this out with only 6 seconds left on the clock. Cabana pushing up, not quite finding it, but the Thatcher's going to be planning Diffuser, and well, the clock's at 0, but it's still going because the Diffuser's going down, and well, Shelby, that's going to clear that up. That was, I believe, a 3 or a 4 piece from Shelby. That really nice work.
I do believe it was a 3 from what I remember. But that was a very, very nice piece of work from Shelby there. As we now have some indecision with a contested choice. Oh boy, and it looks like they're going to go back to Church and Arsenal again. As we end up here with some very good stat lines from both teams. As we're going back to Church and Arsenal with almost the exact same setup. And this time bringing a Thatcher, actually, interestingly enough, which they didn't have before. No, they did, right? Yeah,
yes, they did. Yeah.
They had a Thatcher, but they did not choose to leverage that to open the hatch, instead using the creativity with the new breach and thermite charge propagation vectors.
Yeah, definitely a good play. The first EXO was eaten up by the Cade. Unfortunately, it could have been easily avoided with a quick EMP. But the hatch got open, they won the round. You can't really complain there. Interestingly enough, Stony Brook has all 3 of the opening picks so far and has been able to transfer 2 of those into round wins, Elon taking 1 of them off. But it's so far been back and forth. So looking at the past 3 rounds, this round is probably going to go to Elon to try to keep it tied up. Just purely looking from the last rounds there.
Yeah, and it is important to note that this one is Elon's map. So it will be very interesting if they won't be able to leverage their defensive round properly, as this is as almost every Siege map is slightly defensive sided. So it'll be very interesting to see if they end up actually even, so a 3-3 split or a 4-2 split, which is not exact. 4-2 is about where they want to be for this.
Yeah, if you're Stony Brook right now, sitting at 2 rounds under your belt, attacking Clubhouse already, you got to be looking pretty good here. So far, Elon hasn't even gone to a tertiary site, but Yummy is going to be roaming up top, going to decide not to be too aggressive and back off well cloaked, so he can't be spotted on the drones, but he will remain up top floor still.
Yeah, as we see 3 people trying to enter over the cache CCTV side, and Yummy just checking thing and Benra being droned out at least as well as you can drone out of Vigil, and now rotating downstairs, opening up them creative kill holes there. And Yummy, and we have 3 people entering upstairs, so it looks like they're doing a full top-down sweep here in this particular case.
The Prussian just must have barely missed the cross from the Vigil there, just barely missing him, and they might think he's still up there. Not quite, as they are just going to clear it out with their guns. As the drones, well, not too effective, but Vigil's going to opt to back off to pool. And it's again the Prussian going to be looking close, very closely, almost finding Yummy, but he's going to be pinched here. They're on main stairs and in jungle behind him. Well, he's going to have to back off into strip, and well, now he's extra pinned.
Yeah, we'll see if he's able to escape, as they don't exactly know where he is, but with those shots fired at the Habana, there isn't really very many avenues left for him to escape.
does still have 2 impacts in his pocket, so he can try to cross out Pool, but as we saw, Nord on the Buck was watching it from above. It's going to hop off that angle, and they're buying loads of time, though, and can't aim. Is going to find the first pick onto his own teammate. That's the Hibana off the board, and that's another Exo down. SBU is now down to a single exothermic charge in terms of hard breach, and while Yummy's still in strip, they don't have him droned out. He could have a really detrimental flank here for Elon.
Yeah, this is not looking very hot for SBU at this point because they still haven't gotten rid of the Vigil who they knew where he was. And it looks like as they tried to enter onto site, Colonel manages to get Can't Aim, and now we're in a 5v3, mostly due to their...
Yeah, Mono Hatch being open. They're just going to have to funnel through with 30 seconds, but Yummy coming up from behind is going to find the pick onto Shelby, leaving it down to just the 2 who've already dropped Moto in main. They're going to be being pushed from all sides here. Going to try to find some picks as Nord finds one onto Colonel, almost finding a second here, but Batu finding the Nord on Buck and CJ to close it out on Cade to find the Thatcher at bottom main.
Yeah, that was a very interesting round. It looked like it was going to go Stony Brook's way, especially when they managed to corner the Vigil. But after the team kill, it looked like they just decided to, oh, he must have dropped down or something like that, and then tried to reorganize and rotate. But again, that's kind of what you expect to happen when you get a really early and critical team kill like that. The round not to go particularly well. So let's see exactly how they rebound from that. Now we're at a 2-2 split currently for the half.
Yeah, Yummy on the Vigil there, playing it really smart actually, playing it almost like a snake. Just as soon as he was spotted out on drones, being able to cross out just behind a peek from one of the attackers there from SBU, and well, just buying loads of time. The attackers really didn't start pushing site until a minute 15, and because of that chaos he was causing, I'm pretty sure that's why Can't Aim fragged Deprusion there. But overall, really good round from Yummy, as we will be going back up to cash, as that site is now unlocked for the defenders.
Yeah, it looks like they've taken just enough time so they don't have to take the gym bedroom defense. But they're going back up to cash. They had moderate success with this time actually bringing an alibi unlike before. So on the sides we have a Maestro, a Vigil, Alibi, Jaeger, and Bandit, and on the other we have a Capital, Thermite, Sophia, Hibana, and Thatcher.
Kind of interesting to see Thatcher with a diffuser there. That's just one of the interesting things. Usually one of the hard breachers has it. It's definitely an interesting play from SBU. Might just be handing it off. But we see some really sneaky bullet holes coming out from Yummy on stage and bar there. Looking into stock. No, he's going to opt to be a little bit more aggressive, peeking that western hallway door, and there is an attacker that spawned there. Is he going to be able to find the pick? Shooting some bullets, not quite connecting any damage, but definitely going to give SBU a little bit of a scare.
Yeah, especially there, it's also mildly interesting that all 4 bandit charges have already been placed. 2 in the back wall and then 2 on the CC wall. So I'm not entirely sure exactly what's going to happen once that side clears out, or if they're just playing it like it's going to break, because they saw how they weren't exactly able to clean it back in properly. Now they used a lot of utility just to get that side open for something that was not particularly invested in, which was a reasonable play on Elon's part here.
Yeah, they're just gonna decide to play with that wall open, and it will most likely be opened anyways. But Shelby is going to find the opening pick onto a Batu. That's the Jaeger off the board there, as Zofia starts pushing into stock. Gonna be looking to open up those vertical holes again below sight, and well, Yummy is gonna opt to back away from that. Not gonna contest it. Gonna instead flank back up to site. With the wall open, there's gonna be a lot of pressure on site, and he's gonna try to relieve some of that by flanking around.
Yeah, it looks like we got 1 on upside Ever Repel, 2 downstairs, and 1 running along the roof going to open the small office hatch, it seems like. And 1 viewing from connector into site. And now it looks like the Zofia is going to try and clear out the Maestro, whether or not he has eyesight onto it. It looks like he was actually Capital bolted out as the Zofia manages to get him down. And Medicant cleaning 1 out, and then Shelby getting the other. And now we get back in from the drop. On the accidental team kill. Oh boy, again. Yummy being the last one yet with Kant as they're going down to plant. And now we're in a 1v3 situation there. 1v2 with the diffuser down and a minute left. down in the quite literal sense where the planter got killed. So let's see what Spitz can actually pull off in this particular situation.
Spitz definitely pulling it back a little bit, being able to stop that diffuser from going down. He now knows exactly where it is, but due to the Fulton from Deprusion, is going to find the frag, and that's going to be the round for Stony Brook. That's the second team kill coming out from Stony Brook. I don't know if they're nervous or just really good fraggers, and they're just insta-doming their teammates, but almost costed them the round there.
Yeah, it's a very particular point that we've actually seen team kills 2 rounds in a row, and I'm very curious about to see. They came back from it, but I'm very curious to see if we'll see a third or a fourth, because especially with this pattern here, you'd think that there'd be more team communication, so I'm very interested to see about how they improve that to make sure to get rid of any incidental mistakes that they may have.
Last defensive round here for Elon before the side swap here. It looks like they're going to be trying out the gym bedroom as well. Their first time defending any site hasn't quite worked out for them. They have been able to adapt and hold it, but the third time on cache didn't quite work for them, so they decided they'd try to run the bedroom strat. Interestingly enough, not 6-picking the castle might give Stony Brook here a heads up that they're going gym bedroom, as he's usually a very important operator to have here. And quick note, Castle with the super shorty, yes, you saw that right. They did give Castle the super shorty, allowing him to open up some rotate holes and some lines of sight, just making him a little bit more useful and a little bit more attractive to pick. Stony Brook here going to be picking the Twitch, which we haven't seen yet come out from SBU. Going to be trying to get the Bandit off the wall, as well as the Thatcher. Just a lot of utility going to be dumped in to get Jacuzzi open.
5 seconds left.
Yeah, we'll see exactly how that turns out, especially with the Capitao. Fortunately, now the way that the bolt propagates, it actually you have to be really persnickety about it to get it around the shield. As with 95% of instances, it'll actually just be clean up blocked by the shield due to how it's spreading out now instead of being.
So a pretty standard attack coming out from SBU so far, wasting no time getting up on that rooftop. CJ is going to be opting to try to trick Jacuzzi Wall this time, not going to just be placing his wires and leaving it be, but play that actively. As we see some prismas going down in gym, and it actually looks like Stony Brook here is going to be rotating around and going to try to be taking from server and cache. Definitely a good take.
Yeah, it's definitely based on what they were seeing there with so much utility based on the Jacuzzi side. The fact that they're going to try and take cache and CC instead makes a lot of sense for them in terms of their rotate. As the Shelby finally sees the Jaeger on the first floor. We'll see how this engagement actually turns out, as the Jaeger doesn't know that Shelby is actually there yet, or maybe now, especially with those bullets being fired. Let's see who gets the first look on this. Unless nothing else is happening. We see it heard another thermite go off. Let's see what wall that particular got opened here.
Yeah, Shelby, being a particularly good high-impact fragger for SBU, is going to be looking for a Batu, but he's going to be playing it nice and safe, tucked in that corner there, as I believe that is Jacuzzi Wall opened up due to the Thatcher, the Twitch, the Capitao probably as well. Just a lot of utility being dumped there. But we see Colonel here on the castle trying to peek Capitao on bedroom balcony, lighting him up to very low HP with that ump in hand. Not quite finishing anything, but it looks like SBU has complete control of construction now. And while Colonel's going to be starting to get pushed from 2 sides here, as well, Shelby has just running around server, making sure that there's no flank coming out from the Jaeger he saw in far.
Yeah, and actually they're at a reasonable health advantage too, as he now gets hit by a firebolt here, as Deprusion takes out Spitz, and now we're in a 3v5 with that quick kill from Medicant. And this still is definitely winnable here, just considering all the health totals people are out. Just that push there. Ooh, Jaeger Bandit narrowly missing the shot. It looks like that's just what their investment is. The one was actually down. Oh, no, prone. Let's see if we can get the second here. And with that spray, the diffuser's planted. Now we're in a 2v3 and a 1v1. And a holy cow, all the things are coming in. Yummy Thigh getting 2, Shelby and Nord getting the other ones. And now the diffuser has been planted. And let's see if Yummy can take him out. and did not see Shelby crouching, and that was one heck of a quick turnaround on that round,
A lot of
especially with the kill feed at the end.
definitely a lot of back and forth frags there. Unfortunately, the castle being fragged out in bedroom so early on without any real crossfires to help him out, just really kind of it fell apart there for Elon on the defense. As Stony Brook takes the half in a 4v2, going to defense. That's a really nice position to be in if you're Stony Brook right now. Being able to go in the defense up 2 rounds is really solid. We
Up
will be
four.
seeing a quick rehost here, though. Just trying to get some sound issues sorted out real quick, um, but it shouldn't take too long.
Yeah. Also, partially due to that, and it's something we'll mention just so that all of our viewers know. One of the players was wearing an illegal uniform, just so be wary of that, especially when playing in leagues. Make sure your skins are the correct ones that you're supposed to be using. Otherwise, we'll have to do some weird stuff like this. And moving on from that, I am also very curious about to see how the second half will go if it'll be just as attacker skewed. And that also makes me wonder whether or not we saw some spec bans with the Monty or with the Monty on the attack side, and whether or not that was a targeted pick onto.
Yeah, Clubhouse does tend to be a defensive sided map, but it could just be one of those weird games where we see just the attacks take the majority of the rounds. They could come back and tie this out, but so far Stony Brook is definitely going to be fighting to at least get that tie. Looking really good into this second half. Going to be trying to secure their spot in playoffs, and well, you can definitely tell they're fighting for it so far.
Yep, and especially with the Maverick ban in particular, that makes all the defenses significantly ostensibly it makes the defenses easier, and you think that Elon being the ones to defend first would have been able to cope without the Maverick better. So we'll see exactly if they have better strategies for playing without a Maverick compared to the other side, and maybe try and take a 5-1 half instead of a 2-4.
Yeah, Elon's definitely going to be trying to fight to hold their second place position here. Going to try to not let Stony Brook take any more rounds off of them. Probably hoping to have a nice clean, I'm assuming that's a 5-0 half here as they try to clean it out. Um, but Stony Brook is coming off quite the heater right now. Definitely Shelby is probably one of the top players right now, having some really impactful opening frags, and not even just opening frags, but finding one and then chaining them together with back-to-back picks is really what's allowing Stony Brook to do so well.
Yeah, and just a reminder so that nobody really forgets here, we had the bands of on one side we had Echo Mira for defense, and on the attacker side, we had Monty and Maverick. So, and just in that particular respect, um, what is your favorite operator to ban on defense? Do you have a particular favor of Echo or Maestro? Which one do you prefer?
Oh, well, I don't want to be giving away any secrets. Um, but I will say my team personally has a really good Dokkaebi player. And now since the recent change with Dokkaebi being able to counter Echo, to be able to call him and see through his drones, we've been swaying more towards the Maestro ban over the Echo ban, just because, well, you don't need any specific operators to deal with Echo. Any operator can just shoot his drone, whereas Maestro, you need impacts or frags or ashes, breaching rounds, or Zoph's impacts. I prefer the Maestro ban on defense, honestly. How about you, Coinman?
I'm not entirely sure. It depends on whether or not we need the ACOG for the map, because now that Maestro doesn't really have a functional ACOG at this point. Not because his Alda doesn't have the
Hmm.
good old ACOG machine gun. Um, and I I think personally for us, we usually just ban Echo, not because it's more difficult to shoot, but because we just have a player that prefers Maestro over the other.
Yeah, true. And with banning Maestro, you do have the ability to play Echo without ACOG, just giving him a little bit more range, allowing him that much further reach. And his reach already being very large with those Echo drones and concusses. But we.
So, what do you think about the new Jackal animations? Because especially even though the scan has changed, what do you think about the new animations that they put in for that?
Ooh, what animations? Is this news I'm just hearing?
Yeah, so instead of just being like a stupid little circle, it actually rings around the foot that you're scanning.
Oh, those ones. Yeah, and the changes where the older the footprint, the less scans it gets.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually think it's a really good change. I think it makes him a lot more of a well-rounded op. He's still really good at what he does, but it makes him less annoying to play against. So your footprints from the very beginning of the round won't get you tracked for I believe it was what like 30 seconds. Like that's a long time in Siege. That's the sixth of the round. Now the footprints from the beginning of the round will give him one or two pings, and then you're free to roam again. I still see a lot of Jackal bans coming out. I believe that's just because people are just so used to banning Jackal and not having to play against him. But I do think he's a lot more well-rounded and a lot not easier to play against, but there's just a lot more interaction between Jackal and the defensive operators, which it makes the game a lot more well-rounded. The devs have been doing a really good job at just kind of rounding off a lot of operators lately.
Yeah, also I'm excited for our Lord and Savior Tachanka to actually be usable in a meaningful capacity, hopefully, based on what we saw in the late like the pre-alpha.
Oh yeah, of course. He might actually be really good. That turret being able to open up such big rotate holes, as well as his new grenade launcher that shoots the flammable grenades that just kind of leave some flames. He's gonna be more of like a denial op, like Smoke or Echo or Maestro, more like Smoke in a way, being able to deny the plant when time comes down to it. I'm definitely excited to see him played competitively and like actually be useful, not people being surprised that the meme lord is out, but an actual viable, really strong operator is definitely going to be really fun to see.
How often do you think once Oryx is released to us in the playoffs, will people be jumping up hatch?
Oh, it's kind of difficult to say right now because I'm sure everyone watching has probably played the new season by now, either ranked or casual, and they've been flanked by an Oryx. I've done it numerous times, but once people get used to watching their backs and used to knowing that hey, if they have an Oryx, they could jump up from hatches, they'll be watching for it. So whenever we're pushing and I see they have an Oryx, I just call out, hey, there's an Oryx out. Just keep an eye on your back. No flanks are safe, but we will probably be seeing a lot of Oryx. He is a really strong roaming operator, and I'm excited to see some of the plays that's going to come from that because it is just really an unexpected move.
Yep, and finally we're loading back in here. We're going back into round 7, having cleared up all the right mess we've caused earlier, and I apologize for the inconvenience and our ramblings. So now we see here Stony Brook on the defense doing CCTV cash like before, bringing a Maestro Bandit Jaeger Mozzie Valkyrie at first blush, and a Habana Thermite Zofia and question mark Nomad. So it looks like you're going to be trying to prevent the roam and a Capitao up front instead of trying to hide it with a 6-pick like Stony Brook did on their attacking side.
Yeah, Elon being pretty smart here. They were very efficient at roaming and flanking and coming up behind the attackers, and they don't want to deal with that. So they're going to shut that down, bringing the Nomad with her air jabs, being able to cut off rotations very quickly, very easily, and very effectively. Um, Being pretty difficult to get by, or it might even just be air jabbing the run out so that they can play server balcony as efficiently as possible. Interesting pick though coming out from SBU, taking the castle. Castle usually isn't an operator you see played on cash, but it looks like they're going to be using him below to try to hold below. Actually, a really smart play. With the super shorty on Mozzie, can open up a lot of vertical holes and actually just fully play from below. I'm interested to see how this goes for SBU. I don't think I've seen this before.
Yeah, I definitely haven't seen the castle strat downstairs to do the better stock hold. So I'm very excited to see how they're going to try and leverage that and how many people they're going to play downstairs.
They're even holding stage, and they're gonna, I believe, no, they'll be reinforcing stock. So yeah, they're just gonna be having like a really strong vertical hold here. I'm actually really intrigued. I'm hoping this works out for him. It's really interesting, and it's definitely different. It's gonna throw Elon for a bit of a loop here if they don't spot this out and deal with it quickly.
Yep, and it looks like they're gonna do like the 5-man throw with the giant blue glow from. All right, so you can hear better. Good on them for remembering that that's a function of that. And it looks like they're gonna double breach here, and it looks like we lost one of the Habala pellets in the mess. They said sometimes textures are really funky. It looks like you couldn't get either wall as both sides of cash wall are breached.
Yeah, I was a little worried for Elon there as they 6 off the capital, meaning that getting that wall open was probably going to be a lot more difficult, but they had no problem with it at all as that wall is now Swiss cheese, and well, it's actually going to be Shelby who's going to do the majority of damage on to Habana there, but also taking a bit of damage there for himself. Holding Garage, playing this actually pretty aggressively. If you're playing Garage, you really want to hold it down safe so that the attack can't just take it and push quickly. But the first frag is going to be coming out from Colonel onto Mendicant, and that is below. That's a frag below. They're in stock already.
Yeah, and it looks like they managed to take out the Mozzie, who was trying to hold downstairs in the little bar stock area. As we see now that Shelby is trying to hold Garage on their own. And hopefully doesn't get spotted out by the Nomad, who's peeking him from behind. As you can see, if we see the Shelby right behind them motorcycles. C4 thrown, let's see if the C4 gets, and the C4 does get by Depulsion, and then Colonel taking out Shelby, and then Can't Aim taking out CJ, and Can't Aim getting another with a Bantu with the good old castle gun, and Nord getting out a third, or fourth I should say, with Spitz bringing it down to a 1v2 with a minute left and all the things open. So this is definitely winnable since oh, the diffuser's inside. Oh no.
Diffuser, Garage, Balcony. This is definitely still doable as both attackers are on his right side. No really solid cross angle setup just yet, but he's going to have to act very quickly here. Checking the drone hole real quick, not quite finding everything. He's going to find the pick onto Nord, and it's now down to a 1v1. Diffuser still on Garage, Balcony. He's not going to have the ability to plant just yet, but he doesn't need... Oh no, Can't Aim is going to end up finding the pick with that ump, just sitting him down. Almost finding the pick, just a few misplaced shots there, and overall a really good hold from Stony Brook there, coming down very close to the wire, but Stony Brook winning it out.
It begs to ask the question whether or not Can't Aim can actually aim with what we just saw right there, right?
I'm sorry, Coin, what was that?
It begs the question if Can't Aim can actually aim.
Oh, I don't know. He clutched that out quite well. He won that for his team. That I think he...
Yeah, I think he can sometimes. Sometimes. It's the important caveat with the name is that sometimes you actually have to be able to aim. As we go into the next round here, as they're going downstairs to Church Arsenal and the 2-5, we're almost at map point here as we see the Maestro switching to Elysian. So no actual real hard plant denial and or information in between with what's available, which is a really interesting choice.
Yeah, Valkyrie's still on the board though. Is going to provide intel, and that coupled with the toxic babes from smoke, it can definitely lead to some very solid denial. But it does require a lot more communication, and well, just efficiency executing as well. Not a lot of heavy roaming ops though from SBU, as they might be trying a full anchor setup here. Belt could be on the roam though. Her MPX with a fast fire rate is definitely a headshot machine, but we'll just have to see. Diffusion though, not rocking the shotgun. That's going to mean Cade with the TCSG is going to have to make all of the rotate holes, or, well, use a Nitro. As you can see, Cade's Nitro is already used.
So it begs to ask the question, what do you think of Legion's most recent rework, where you can hear the things go off, but you can't see them removed until you're in line of sight?
Oh, that's along the lines of Jackal, where he's still a really good operator. He still slows the push down. He still provides intel, but it makes him a lot less annoying to play against and just a lot more balanced. Without taking that initial damage, you know you don't have to worry about stepping on several goo mines at once and getting downed because of it. You just step on them, and they just know your location now. And well, he might not even because he can only see them within 8 meters. Here we see the Twitch drone looking for any black guys in kitchen. Not gonna quite find any, as we see Shelby, probably the top fragger here for SBU. Not quite sure after the rehost there is the scores will be reset. But Jaeger's going to be trying to hold these main stairs. Going to try to slow the push as best he can, and hopefully he's hoping for a mist drone here so he can make a really solid play.
Yeah, let's see if they don't perfectly clear it out. And oh boy, Shelby almost managed to dodge the bullet. So close. Good effort. His Sledge is coming in, joining the party, swinging his giant hammer around and seeing if he can get lines in on Shelby here. I don't think... Oh, and Shelby did manage to rotate downstairs through bathroom into pool. So it looks like Shelby managed to escape.
Yeah, he heard that sledgehammer go off, he heard the soft walls breached, and he knew that he was starting to get pinched, so he decided to back out, and instead of holding strip there, he's going to rotate around towards lounge and hold above blue best he can. But unfortunately for him, it looks like Elon's going to be going for kitchen hatch. That's the X-Kairos out. And it doesn't look like there'll be any impacts coming out, and that'll be kitchen hatch open. As we see one of the toxic babes used in dirt. I'm not sure if dirt is open just yet. There may have been an exothermic charge that went off, but there is currently no one playing in dirt. It is open, but no one's in dirt just quite yet.
Yeah, now we're at the point where 50 seconds left in the round. They got to make an execute. Nobody's dead. Everyone's at full health. Most of the utilities are still around. So this is going to be one really quick push to get it to work out, as we see Shelby knocking a drone out there and trying to market that headshot there onto the baseline stairs. As Shelby manages to get a body from the back, and then Yummy manages to get can't aim. So it looks like that Twitch did manage to trade with the Valkyrie who was trying to wide peek that side, or even cross.
Yeah, 20 seconds though. The attack is really going to have to execute, and with Shelby as Jaeger on their back, it's going to be tough for them as well. Twitch is going to forget that Cade's playing Moto, and he's going to get a nice one-tap into Prusian. Putting that FMG to work is going to find one in dirt, and Shelby on the flank is going to find Spitz, leaving it all down to Colonel on the Thermite, and that's Shelby to clean it up with a nice 3K.
I think that's the second 3K we've seen from Shelby, and Shelby is putting in all the work as we've seen lately. Not all of it, of course, because the support work's very important, but at least on the fragging side, accomplishing a fair portion of that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Stony Brook knows that they need to do well this game to get to playoffs, but it sure looks like they know, because they're definitely bringing it. A 2-6 on Clubhouse, which is Elon's pick, is definitely really solid, and they only need one more point to guarantee their tie and to get 4th place, and well, still one more week to play, but with the tie qualifying for playoffs as of now.
Woo! Good on them.
Oh yeah, definitely fighting for it, and well, with Cash and Basement both won for Stony Brook, well, they're not going bar. They're going to opt to go gym bedroom all the way upstairs.
Yeah, and we're going to see the magnificence that is the 3rd site for once. It's going to be great, especially here as we see a gridlock being brought out, a little bit of spice in our life today, especially with the Mozzie being switched to a Vigil. So there is no mute or any other information denial currently. And we're going to be in for the party and see what the castle can do.
Yeah, we did see Elon try gym bedroom the last round of their defending half, and Stony Brook did take it out from underneath them. So Stony Brook is going to try to turn it around and turn the tides and try to win this defense up top. And if they do, winning this the perfect site rotation, as well as the map, Elon's map. So definitely SB is probably pretty hyped up right now. Some pretty standard operators here for the top hold. Castle is pretty standard. Bandit to try to trick Jacuzzi Wall. And we're going to see SBU. They're going to be holding top cash stairs as well as cash. Having a nice spread out top hold here.
Yep, and it looks like we have a couple people over in construction, and weirdly enough, actually no shield on the banded jacuzzi wall, which is a little bit funky, but we'll see exactly how it turns out. As I don't believe anyone on SBU side even brought a shield,
Yeah, I
so that's a very interesting
I,
take.
I don't know if you caught that, but Jaeger ran out stock, and then Mendicant on the Vigil barricaded him in stock, having to break the barricade and rotate out. Just a little team-friendly play back and forth there. Didn't cost any damage, fortunately, but it does look like Thatcher is lit just below half HP. It's going to make this wall a little bit more difficult to get as well. The first EMP is going to be drained, and the exothermic charge is going to go on, but he's going to get the wrong wall, and being concussed, he's going to try to rotate out, but he can't quite turn all the way, and that's going to be the frag from Yummy. But Mendicant on the other side is going to find a frag onto Abatu, and that's the Habana off the board. Overall, a really good use of the concussion from the Zofia there, keeping Bandit against the wall for that frag. Shelby here on main stairs is going to be peeking up and is actually going to find the down on the Spitz, as he was very lit. He's going to be trying to look for a second peek, but Spitz is going to be back up, and well, Colonel is going to find the frag onto Shelby from Logic.
Yeah, and now we're at the point where we see someone do the white peak and actually manage to cross there. Good on Mendicant on managing to cross. And one of the benefits of managing to nab the Habana early, as Spitz gets another one and can't, was making sure that bathroom wall is a little bit hard to get out, but Spitz just runs into sight. And now we're in a 1v4 with our good friend Maestro all the way on the other side of the map here. And Nora manages to tap one. Let's see if they just push into him, and I don't necessarily think that's going to happen here, as they do believe that they have the small kill cam.
Yeah, a lot of scans coming out on the cams, but you see the gridlock tracks going down. Gonna make it Nord's time getting back onto site just a pain, quite literally, as every track he steps on is 10 damage. But luckily, impacts in pocket takes quick work of that, but the attackers with some nice crossfires on the construction door. That's Yummy gonna clear it up. And Elon going to be holding on, trying to keep this map from going 7-2, bringing it to a 6-3. Going to be trying to pull this back, clawing it back. That was a tertiary site, so now cash is going to be unlocked for Stony Brook, and well, this could be match point. Well, it is match point, but this could be match.
Yeah, we're always just so close, and they're doing CCTV cash with the castle again. This time, just showing him off flagrantly, unlike before with the solid 6-pick. So, since they saw the strat before, do you think that Elon's going to change their methodologies at all, or what would they do? Do you think, to be able to break through the castle fun?
Well, you can either take below and clear out from below, but that takes a lot of manpower and utility, or you can just focus on taking out the evil eyes so they don't have any eyes onto site. And if you can get into cash and plant on top of one of the cabinets or tables there, you can't get nitroed from below. You can get fragged from a little bit of an angle, but it's very unlikely. So I think Elon right now is just going to have to take cash balcony and probably just hard push into cash if they can.
So I have a question to ask while we're waiting for this round to start. How useful do you think the microphone, at least in that portrait, outside of Mozzie's helmet is? Especially considering it's outside the helmet and not inside the helmet.
Well, it's kind of interesting because a lot of the operators, even when on opposite sides of the map, you can hear when they say things through like radios and stuff. And well, Mozzie, I think, is one of the few operators that actually has one visible. So I mean, it works well. You can hear it from across the map. But I mean, I think it's more just cosmetic than anything super useful.
Or just IQ, where you hear her screaming no matter where you are in the map. Anyway, that you don't need a mic for that.
Oh yes, just in case you didn't know she was scanning for electronics, she definitely is.
Yes.
But we see Elon here going to be trying to take server wall, but Bandit classically playing on that wall. It looks like Zofia is going to be lining up for the concussion trick, going to be wasting some impacts there to eat the ADS, and that's one concussion. That's Bandit off. Not quite timed just right, as we see Kairos and Exo going to go down, and they're both going to go off, but Deprussion's going to be playing this very aggressively, prone underneath the Habana holes, but Yummy hears him and will find the frag, leaving Elon in the advantage here. Stony Brook might be getting a little too confident with their lead here.
Yeah, that wasn't even a small mistake. It's just that when you do the double reach in that respect, you can only choose one side. And also, just a thing to note now, because due to the amount of health that Bandit batteries have, and ooh, that's a really tight look there from Shelby, is that they actually only have just enough health, and Spit's scatting another on Medicat. Looks like the Medicat was one who was playing first floor in bar. That if you hit a Bandit charge with the concussive grenade, it will destroy it. So that is an interesting little tidbit there that you can use in your knowledge. As Shelby manages to get Abatu from downstairs, and I believe that's the Habana, and then Can't Aim takes out Yummy. So now we're in a 3v3 with 1:20 left. And Spit's managing to nab the double kill with a solid kill onto Shelby. Now we're at a point here as CJ manages to get another one and can't, and Elon manages to get the round. Colonel getting north, the last one alive, rounding the back end. So now we're at a particular point where we have to wonder if Stony Brook is losing their momentum, as now we've had 2 rounds against after the one win, and we're still at match point. You got 2 more tries to see if you can actually manage to land the win on their opponent's map. And now we're ending up with our picks here. We have a Habana, Nomad, Thermite, Zofia, and Thatcher on the attack, and on the defense, Legion, Smoke, Jaeger, Kaid, and Castle. Castle is a really interesting choice on Church Arsenal. That Castle is going to be 6-pick to a Valkyrie, maybe trying to signal going back to a different site. And now we are going to see exactly what that Valkyrie. And now, just a moment you're going to have a fun time with just me, as we're going to go on a grand adventure by myself for a hot minute, as our other cast of Brook are going to be restarting his router. So we are now in the first 30 seconds of the round here. Everyone doing a fairly standard setup, and we'll see if people are doing the good old impact trick here. We see only 2 sets of impact, which points towards Legion being downstairs to be able to impact trick the good old roof, as they may open that up. Also, we have a funny bug where you throw it up into the roof and it goes straight back down, as sometimes when you throw it down, it actually bounces along the floor. So it doesn't land exactly where you want it to, but throwing it up to the roof, 100%, it gets it exactly where you want. So now the round is done, and we see multiple people joining in. Coming in from construction side, we'll see if dirt actually gets opened up. We do have the double breach again, so that's entirely within feasibility here, as we see the same spread as the last round. As we see Shelby rotating upstairs to try and get the top floor working and in the party here. And we'll see exactly what Shelby and the rest of them can do, as nobody else seems to be clearing out the top floor, as most everybody is currently attacking the first floor here, as we get a really tight angle from Abatu here, viewing into, I believe that was kitchen here. Shelby's still chilling upstairs and seeing if we can have someone clear it out, as opening up the hatch from the outside, and I don't know if anyone will actually hear that in time, as the only person with impacts is making good old holes in the wall to try and get the sightlines in. So it looks like the kitchen hatch will be opened up by the Habana. Shelby now rotating through cache and getting eyes on certain people, as Zofia is about to open the connector wall and maybe try and swing out and get Shelby here, who's stuck inside CCTV. Zofia now opening the floors up to try and get sightlines into the people downstairs, looking at all those delicious bottles of various fluids, seeing if anyone else might be caught in the rotation here, as our Legion's getting a good line of sight onto just about everything instead of opening up, as we enjoy a drone come through baller from the Valk. Shelby's still rotating all the way up top, haven't even run into anyone yet, may end up dropping actually into Oil Pit here, with Valkyrie getting a good line of sight onto Kitchen Hatch. We have a minute left in the round here, and nobody's dead, and no real action has been particularly taken except for the hatch being open. So this is going to be a particularly quick execute as we're coming in here hot. Nord getting in some altercations here with Colonel as Medicant with the C4, good C4 throw onto Yummy. So now we're in a 5v4, and this might actually close out the match here with 45 seconds left. We're currently at the point here where the ADSs are doing some work with 2 flashes, and the third flash managing to get him. Let's see if he's totally blind, as Shelby manages to get the blind, and we got Spitz onto Deprusion and then CJ onto Medicant. Now we're in a 3v3 situation here, and they got 30 seconds to execute this baby, and let's see if they can now pull it off, as we got some corner angles down from Dirt. Shelby being the top fragger still alive is a really big thing, and Nord getting that, using the impacts up to the biggest potential here, as we have 1 in Dirt and then 2 upstairs from there. Nord still holding blue particularly well as Habana just enters. So let's see if who wins the altercation with Nord. Habana low with the Bachi. Now 8 seconds left. CJ getting the team kill. Can't aim, managing to get CJ. Now we're in a 1v2 situation with 3 seconds left. No time to plan it. SVU manages to win the map. Very good half. That
Oh,
was
yes.
one.
Unfortunately, I couldn't see that last round, but holy crap, it definitely sounds like it was coming down to the wire there. Overall, really good on both sides there. Elon almost bringing it back, just not quite.
Yeah, that was one very, very crazy last round, as it seemed like Elon was about to pull it back, and then suddenly everything fell apart as there was another team kill accidentally, especially after they managed to win the altercation in blue. But I do believe we are going to go on a 5-minute break so that everyone can use the lavatory and whatever else they may need to do. And we'll be back in 5 minutes for the rest of this great match. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this marvelous night of CEA Siege. I am Coinman, and with me today is Blue Card. And Blue Card, what'd you think of that last round of the last map?
Oh, watching it back, it was so close. I definitely think Elon could have pulled it out, but unfortunately that TK just didn't allow him quite to have it, leaving it down just to the Hibana there, and he did not with diffuser, had to try to push sight, but with a nice cross. I mean, it's just that whole map in general was like that last round, very back and forth, very close, and just teams or sides winning it out just based on a few couple little mistakes. But I'm definitely looking forward to this next map, as I'm hoping it's going to be as close as last map.
Over under on the number of TKs in this map from the last.
Uh, I would like to say under. That's my hope. But I'm gonna have to go with over. We had 3 in total, 2 from Stony Brook, 1 from Elon. I'm hoping there's less this map, but there for some reason.
There seems to be a reasonable chance. So on our bans here, it looks like Stony Brook just hard bans Monty. In between the two maps, it seems self-evident as Monty isn't particularly used as much on Coastline. And so our bans today are going to be Monty Blackbeard with all those windows on Coastline. It's not a horrible attacker side choice. Echo and Smoke. The Smoke ban being the really interesting one, especially that there isn't really other good entry denial or like plant denial.
Yeah, smoke. I can't remember the last time I've seen a smoke ban. Like, smoke is one of my mains. That hurts me to see him banned, because I just don't remember the last time he was banned. It's definitely a really interesting ban coming out from Stony Brook. They are defending first too. So without Echo or Smoke, it's the plant denial is going to be pretty tough. But looking like to counter this, they're going to be rocking Mozzie Mute, both probably with Nitros, as well as Maestro with the Evil Eyes. Definitely a solid supplement for the Smoke there.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be pulling for the solid heavy C4 comp because there isn't really any other way to um, compensate for the lack of a smoke. And it looks like we're seeing the 6-pick onto a Twitch to deal with all of the gadgets, because there are a fair number of them that actually can be got by the Twitch drone. Also, fun fact, we have our Twitch drone rework. So in this case, it has the same charge thing like Echoes, and each ping only deals 1 damage. You can't randomly murk people who aren't paying attention.
And they recharge over time slowly. So I believe it's once every 30 seconds, starting with 3. So quick maths, that's 9 on the original drone, and possibly 9 on the second one too, I guess. Give or take.
Which is still less than 30, which is what we had originally.
True, but definitely, again, just a lot more balanced. Again, I've said this before, I'll say it again, because I really do believe that the devs are making a lot of operators a lot more just rounded out. Like, not making huge changes to them, but just small changes that make them a lot more playable and just competitive.
Yeah, it's exciting to see them get invested in for the long haul, and I'm not entirely sure, or I should say that I'm very excited to see everyone invested in for the long haul, because now they're doing less operators and more like actual real fixes. And where did that Thatcher go, and what is over there?
I believe that was to get the ADS off of Aqua bar, and well, I don't see an ADS on it, so it looks like it did its job. Some smart placements, actually, kind of interesting to see. Unfortunately, there are no nades on the attacking side, so they can't really, well, apparently a lot of different attacking operators got nades, but I don't believe any of those ones did. I could be wrong, but an interesting EMP placement there.
Ooh, and Yummy just walking into sight doing the good old entry fragging in on Shelby, which is a really huge pick based on what we saw last match.
Yeah, taking it slow and steady, kind of not Ash's thing, but it works, as he almost finds the Prussian 2 on Cool Vibes, but with a nice headshot, sits Yummy right down. That's proof right there that Ash does, in fact, have a head hitbox. We see Spitz a little under half, pushing up White all alone, getting facing Mendicant here. Seeing just a little bit of his shoulder is going to down him and finish him off. Definitely kind of a weird push there from Thatcher. He was all alone. That's tough. Thatcher's a really good operator, but I suppose he used his EMPs on the rooftop, so he did his job.
Yep. And now we're in a 3v4 and with everything going to be open right now, or not. Medicant seeing all of the things. And I'm curious as to what the chat said. I didn't catch it, so hopefully that wasn't important. As we continue on here, as Maestro is pulling in really hot here, is getting the views onto sightlines. We see Colonel can't aim, getting shot from somewhere, and oh, that's where the Maestro cam is. It's chilling under there and also tagging people through the hole in the bottom as the Prussian manages to get himself with the
impact. I think he was trying to clear the air jab there on luggage, not quite doing it. Mozzie though I believe he ate the air jab and got a pick off of it, but CJ quickly picks up the frag, and Maestro trying to find the last two that Alda doesn't quite as CJ sits him down. I'm gonna count that as a team kill.
Okay, so one on the tally board. We got one on the tally board.
We got one up so far. You did frag someone that's on your team. That's yourself, but that's still you. But Elon take the first round actually pretty decisively there. It's definitely a good start to Coastline here. This is what they need. Again, Stony Brook only needs that single point from a tie to get in the upper halves for playoffs. But I mean, Stony Brook coming off a clubhouse didn't look like they were playing for a tie. It looked like they were playing for a win. Which I'm sure they're going to be trying to this map too, but they're definitely going to have to pull it back a little bit after round one.
Yep, especially seeing how that didn't exactly work out as intended. It looks like they're just going to run it right back, and we're going to see exactly how that turns out. Both sides just showing the Twitch straight up here, just bashing each other's heads in and see if alternating methods will prevail, or the lack thereof anyway in this particular.
Yeah, Stony Brook is probably just going to try to run that back, probably keep Shelby from getting fragged right away, probably keep Diffusion from impact nading himself. Just, again, those small little mistakes that end up costing the round. See, just a very particular game. You gotta be really careful not to make those little mistakes because they do cost rounds in turn games. But again, pretty standard loadouts here. Yummy though, instead of the Ash, gonna be opting for the Jackal. Interestingly enough, he's not banned. I agree with that. I don't think Jackal should be banned all the time, now that he's a bit more balanced. But we'll see how well Yummy utilizes his gadget there to root out the roamers.
Yeah, he was never banned particularly often in comp play. It was more so seen in the ranked is where that's more common, and we did see an attempted run out by Can't Aim. And I do believe that Can't Aim also has an iron sight SMG-11 is what I think I saw.
So he did have it round one, but it looks like no, that's his MP5. I'm curious now.
Yeah, there was one iron sight SMG-11. I do believe it was Can't Aim. So this is going to be an interesting when he switches to the other one to see here. And it looks like he's just trying to justify himself over there so he doesn't randomly get got by various stuff. As we see them droning out Projector, getting eyes on it, and getting Mozzie before he ends up getting shot. I don't know if that drone was actually appropriately got. We'll see if Mozzie using his good old utility with the Jackal's shotgun, checking down the long arm of VIP.
Yeah, Mozzie actually shot that drone there just as it got hit by the pest. Kind of unfortunate. Probably just forgot exactly where he placed his pests. But we see Shelby here in VIP trying to find some frags through a punch hole, but is instead going to find one in Hall of Fame. That's the Jackal off the board. I don't think any tracks got off. So now roamers can really run free here as Mozzie's holding top white. So just trying to give Shelby some support here.
Yeah, that look was so utterly close here as people are just spraying holes through walls with no particular actual sightline. And he just barely missed the pro Thatcher as Thatcher runs away.
Yeah, he heard him on the floor, but unfortunately just because you know they're on the floor doesn't mean it's a free frag. As he's rotated in the other corner of theater, and Medican doesn't quite know, but he's not going to get too aggressive. He's not going to push that, and well, Spitz being alone in Master there is going to just opt to drop out, as he has Shelby and Medican to deal with. Abatu on the other side, I believe that was in Aqua, finding a nice pick onto Nord. That's the Maestro off the board. Now those Evil Eyes are going to be stuck in place, facing one direction, and CJ to follow it up, taking Can't Aim off, but Shelby with a quick response, taking Colonel, and that's air jabs off. Spitz though answering back, and just a nice back and forth here. Mendicant off, that's the Mozzie down into Prussian, finishing off I believe that was a bot 2 with an impact nade, leaving it to an even 2-2. But Elon has the health advantage, but they have the disadvantage of having to push into Stony Brook here. Well, Stony Brook can just hold sight and play passive if they choose to.
Yeah, with all the legions there, someone's actually behind the bomb. We see the push there, and they managed to trade, it looks like, or at least anyway, a refrag here, as we're on low health versus half health. So ostensibly the half health should win, but it depends on how this flank ends up turning out with the good old SMG. And Deprusion manages to get the single shot off onto good old CJ, and manages to take the round. So they finally managed to get the round here, and this was a lot closer than they likely wanted it to be.
Yeah, definitely. Again, a lot of these rounds just going very back and forth, keeping it nice and close. It just keeps the game exciting. I'm sure everyone watching is having a good time with this. I am. A lot of these like just constant refrags. I can't stand. It's hard to keep up sometimes.
Yeah, also an important note, we did see another rework today where our good old Habana didn't die by running into the room with less than 10 health.
Yeah, those goos don't do any initial damage. It must be nice. Unfortunately, didn't quite win out the round, as being low health is punishment enough. But not having to worry about the goos doing damage definitely helped there.
Yeah, I think that was a particular interest, which shows the particular benefit of goos not doing damage, where you actually had a slim chance of winning the round because you could push into the room and potentially kill the opposing operator in that particular case before you ended up dying. So in this case, we have a couple 6 picks, a Nomad onto a Zofia, and a Maestro onto a Pulse, which is kind of funky.
Kind of interesting. I'm assuming the Zofia was 6-pick to counter the Maestro, but the Maestro was 6-picked off of onto the Pulse. So Pulse with that cardiac sensor in pocket is going to provide a load of intel just from playing sight, and is going to help out the roamers above him tremendously. Plus, with 2-3 nitros on the board for SBU, going to be able to potentially do a lot of damage. But Elon with the drone stack outside service here could indicate a little bit of a rush. Not quite, as they do decide to spread out.
Mozzie trying to get that perfect placement of the good old pest. What's your favorite placement on the door frame of a pest?
Myself personally, I actually don't prefer to put them on door frames. I prefer to put them on landings of stairs, because when the drones come up over on top to the landing, they don't get any warning before they're snatched up. Whereas on door frames, most of the times, if you're careful and you figure out which side of the door the pest is on just by listening, the sound will be louder on whatever side of the door. You can actually go to the other side of the door and jump over it. It's a bit hard to pull off, and it doesn't work 100% of the time, but I've done it numerous times, and it's a really cool feeling to pull off and to counter Mozzie, well, without really even doing much.
That's some nice little tidbits to know. And also, interesting enough, here we actually see a second floor hold, as we saw the Mozzie making holes down into the first floor bathroom nearby service entrance. So it looks like they're going to have to be doing a really tight top floor hold here so they don't lose. And it looks like we got a drone. Actually, Mozzie did not blow up this time. He's probably going to shoot it. No, it escaped. Oh, no.
Yummy just barely missing those shots here, and that's even more intel for the defense to use those nitros. But Colonel is going to find a pick on the can't aim, taking one of those nitros off the board, going to even it just a little bit more. For Stony Brook is, well, Spitz finds another on Deprusion there, just punishing Stony Brook for some sloppy roaming here. But Mendicant's going to be holding Theater down with reinforcements and drones at his disposal there. Going to be trying to hold it down. I'm sure Pulse is underneath him, giving him some really solid intel as well. Shelby trying to rotate up to give Mendicant a hand, but Spitz sits him down. Is also going to find Mozzie on his cameras, unaware that he's pushing. Nord, on the other hand, pushes into kitchen. Colonel pushes into kitchen, and Nord sits him down. It's now left all down to Nord, and it was a 1v5, turned it to 1v4. Nitro's going to come out towards the planter, but is going to miss completely, and he's going to try to retake kitchen here, but he peeks the wrong corner here, and with 2 attackers, that's going to be another round for Elon.
What do you think went wrong? Because that went, as something seeing under characteristically for Stony Brook, that went catastrophically wrong in that particular one.
Well, I think what really went wrong was that Stony Brook was roaming by themselves. They didn't have any refrags set up, so one defender fell and there was no response until another member of Stony Brook fell, and then another, and it left I believe it was. I forget who was on the Pulse, but it left Pulse in a 1v5. And, well, there's really not much you can do there.
And as we move into this round here, we got some reasonable stats here. CJ pulling out a 5-1, and Shelby doing a 3-3 with the most kills. This would be tied with Deprusion. As we see a switch onto a Rook and not a Doc, surprisingly, on the defense. From Pulse to Rook, and then from Twitch to IQ over many choices. So we got an IQ, Gridlock, Habana, Buck, and Thatcher, and a Rook, Legion, Jaeger, Mozzie, and let's see if I remember the last one. I don't. Valkyrie.
Valk, always a really solid pick, just able to give a lot of intel, but a really good 6 pick here coming out from Elon onto the IQ is going to be able to counter the Black Eyes quite easily, as well as the Pulse if Stony Brook decided to pick one. In this case they didn't, but every gadget on Stony Brook, besides the armor plates, can be quite easily countered with IQ from above and vertical play there. That's if Elon can take above. They weren't they were very successful at taking above last time, but by the time they had above, they also had kitcheners.
We'll have to see exactly how this round plays out. I don't know how many people are playing upstairs. It looks like 2 or 3. It looks like, yeah, they're doing a 3-person hold upstairs with a whole lot of effort up there with some extra little bits of reinforcement to make sure that the refrag potential's there. I don't believe they're doing the whole hard upstairs hold like they were doing last time with the shotgun into the bathroom. But it looks like they're doing with a little bit less refrag potential, but a little bit more spread here. We'll see if the Mozzie or anyone else will be able to tag someone coming in from an initial entry.
Yeah, holding up top does tend to be pretty tough on Coastline. Having that courtyard that goes straight down through the middle of the map, you have sightlines onto the 2 hallways that connect the top of the map together. So if someone decides to play that, they can cut rotation down quite easily. But with the intel denial up top from Mozzie and those pests, it's definitely going to help him out as he sees that there's 2 in bedroom, but no one from SBU is quite going to be playing in bedroom.
Yeah, they did manage to tag one of the drones currently, and we're going to see exactly how that ends up panning out here as Deprusion gets barely any sightlines onto our good friend Buck, it looks like, as Buck is walking around, maybe running into Deprusion. Let's see who sees each other first, and it's an even split here. Or it's actually Spitz, I apologize. Let's see if Spitz can actually pull this one out. They see roughly where he is, and downs Deprusion, and I don't think they know that he's down as Medicat manages to take out Colonel. Now we're in a functionally 4v4 situation there, as nobody knows exactly where Deprusion is. And then Medicant whips around the back as Nord, Medicant, and another one, and CJ takes out Shelby. Holy cow, this is a quick turnaround here, as Medicat's going to go help his friend on the roam and see if he can get him back up in time.
He's looking to make his way over. He will get him back up, but Yummy, prowling close, is going to slowly be pushing his way up. Going to try to take this very sneaky, and he's going to find the pick on the Mandican. And lucky for him, that was the defender that had the most HP there. He knows Deprusion is very low now. Can't aim, tries to take a fight in stock, or in office rather, and he definitely lives up to his name there, missing a few of the shots, leaving it down to a nice even 2v2. The health being quite evenly split, but Deprusion being very low. This is going to be a really tough site to hold. Yummy and CJ are going to definitely have to work together to try to take this site. Maybe try to regroup just a little bit, as they are quite split. Deprusion is going to opt to try to rotate up and retake top floor, and CJ's going to find the pick onto him, leaving it just down to Nord. The beefy boy himself with the armor plates is going to find a pick onto Yummy, equalizing it to an even 1v1. It's now down to CJ versus Nord. Armor plates on, Rook is beefed up, ACOG in hand is going to try to take the peek, but armor plates don't help against the headshot as CJ finds the head and wins the round out for Elon.
Yeah, it looks like, unfortunately, he tagged the shoulder based on that blood splatter instead of the actual head. So just a little bit of a misplaced crosshair, but still very, very good effort by Stony Brook there. Now we're in a 3-1 split, which is what we thought we would see the last time. But now it's on the opposite and on the other map. So you think we'll see a 4-2 again in this particular case? In favor of the unfavored team, essentially?
If it's looking like last map, I do think so. It's these teams have played pretty repetitively. They usually try the same things. It usually ends up very differently, but trying the same things usually ends up to roughly the same outcome. So I wouldn't be surprised at the 4-2 split.
So I guess that everyone loves the Empire mentality of just banging your head against the wall, and eventually you break through, because that's what Empire does. And I'm. It's rather interesting to see other teams trying to do the same thing and actually succeeding on both these sides, at least in
Defenders,
their
protect
respect
your
for.
bombs from being defused by attackers.
Yeah, I mean, Siege is a very complicated game. There's so many intricacies to it. It's hard to pinpoint exactly where, what one thing led to the downfall of a site. But being able to adapt and change your strategies on the fly is a big part of Siege. And there's definitely the 6 picks coming out have definitely shown some adaptation. Elon taking the IQ last round in case they 6-picked the Pulse again. They didn't, but with the Velk and Mozzie and Jaeger on the board, being able to counter those ops very easily is definitely a smart play. But going Hookah, I don't believe we've seen a castle on Hookah before, unless I just have a horrible memory.
No, there's definitely not a castle on Hookah at this point, and it looks like they're going to be doing a small office hold downstairs just to make sure nobody can get in. So maybe some vertical play in that respect. Mildly unorthodox, but I'm excited to see where this ends.
Yeah, holding below is definitely a valid option. The floor being completely soft, the plant can be denied from the bottom there. Only 2 nitros on the board for SBU, none of which are down below, but with a quick hatch drop and rotate could easily be. As it looks like Elon is going to be going for probably a standard Hookah Aqua take, as the majority of them are on the west side of the map here. Going to do a little bit of a split push. A few people pushing Aqua, a few people pushing Hookah is always a good idea. Getting the defense to split their hold is always good. And it looks like there's only 2 people on site, with Deprusion playing on Cool Vibes stairs. It looks like Mendicant will be droned out below, being shot by the Twitch drone, taking 1 HP off of Mendicant.
I'd say 2.5 people on site because Cool Vibes is functionally on site.
You can hold Hookah quite easily from there, but if the attack does decide to push Aqua, there's not really much holding him there, but Abatu is going to take that half right off the hold from sight as he frags Deprusion on Cool Vibes, leaving it just down to Can't Aim and Nord, who are in sight. Shelby and Mendicant. Mendicant's below. I'm not quite sure where Shelby is. He might be holding bedroom? He's trying to hold tight in bedroom there.
Yeah, so we saw one in kitchen, one in bedroom, and it looks like they're going to be trying to split both ways, as I do believe that they saw the person in kitchen in this particular case, and maybe we'll get our creative C4 on and see if we can nab him. And he almost C4s himself, just got caught on the edge of the bomb. Oh boy.
Lucky for him though, doesn't take any damage. Yummy though, taking a lot from somewhere. Abatu with another onto Mendicant though. Definitely going to be stepping it up here. Shelby going to try to peek out VIP. Not quite going to find anything. CJ though is going to sit, Can't Aim down. And Nord on Mozzie is going to take the Twitch off the board. The upside down repel doing damage to Nord though, is that's Hookah completely clear. And that's Diffuser going down on 8. Shelby's going to try to swing to take it off, finds one, but the cover is there from Spitz, and that's the round for Elon. Really nice plant and cover there from Elon, even with Stony Brook taking one off. There was a second, and I believe even a third there to cover that. Really solid.
Are we positive these people chose these maps?
You know what?
And it looks like I think we got the whole thing backwards because we're miserable and horrible people in that respect because we can't pay attention. So yeah, Clubhouse was SBU's map, and Elon is, and Coastline is Elon's map. We're just bad at reading. Is what
you know what? That makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, we can't read, which is great. And now we're in a. So now this makes a lot more sense that we're seeing these splits, and that was actually rather impressive that Elon managed to get a 7-4 split, or 7-5 on the last map? Yeah, a 7-5 split on the last map. So this is definitely a little bit of our ignorance and us just not reading our title cards.
Yeah, a little bit of a mix-up last second there. It does happen. That's our fault. But these scorelines definitely do make a ton more sense here as well. Elon has been pretty prominent on Coastline. And Stony Brook definitely showing up map 1 is going to need to try to show up here. But like I said, they already have their guaranteed, if they were to lose this map, they have their guaranteed tie, their guaranteed point, and they're far in the upper half of the division. So they're sitting pretty right now.
And we're definitely at an exciting point right now because we actually get to see Mira played for once. And a Goyo! All these new people! Well, Mira isn't new, but never used to actually be legal in anything. But all these interesting and relatively new operators. We have a logjam in the rotation.
Yeah, some interesting setups here with a castle as well. Just a lot of... This is going to be a really hard site to pick apart with all the Goyos, the castles, the Miras. If you want to try something, odds are there's going to be some sort of gadget in your way to prevent that. And well, Stony Brook, I mean, this is definitely it's blowing my mind right now. It's crazy. I can't even get my mind around it.
That's why we just love some of these little bit more obtuse things. Because as people are expecting them to see Colonel right outside the kitchen window, see nobody in there, trying to exactly sauce out what ridiculous mess they're about to walk into. And that mess just might be exactly what they need to clean all this to try and get back into this game.
Yeah, it looks like Shelby, though, tried for a spawn peek at the beginning of the round and was very much punished for it, as he's at almost 25 HP. That's going to definitely hurt Stony Brook here, as he's one of the more permanent fraggers. Not so much on this map, as roaming is a lot more difficult on Coastline. A lot of those rotates can be cut very easily. But Elon here, it looks like it's going to be taking Sauna as well as Kitchen, and that's a Batu is the first frag on the campaign. That's the Velk off the board. Although the Valkyrie's dead, she can get on those black-eye cameras and help her team tremendously.
Yeah, and it looks like they picked apart the entire back end of the site, so we have clear sight lines into functionally everything right now, because that Twitch drone managed to get around and might be able to actually clean up some people because people are at such low health. Okay, it's like 26 and 27, so actually if they Twitch drone won't be able to do it this time.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that you can't do that anymore. Shelby, though, being on low health doesn't matter, as he still has a gun in hand and will find a frag, and Twitch pushing up on the open Mira will down the Mira, leaving it to almost an even, well, now an even 3v3, as Mendicant finds the frag onto Spitz. But Mira being down leaves it an effective 3v2, as Castle drops Courtyard. Castle and Shelby trying to push together here. Yeah, they have to retake site. They have to do something. They have sights into Blue Bar, but Nomad with the diffuser is just going to rotate around to Sunrise. And, well, Sunrise is castled off. This could be a really easy plant and hold for Elon.
Now we're at an interesting point right now where everybody's looping around, and I don't know where the Habana will actually get sightlines on people, because the Habana nearly rotated all the way around just to get to it, and I think Medicamp might actually nab the Habana as the Habana comes back in here. Oh, okay, and CJ managed to get Medican looking incidentally the wrong way. And I think that this is likely around for Elon here.
Now down just to Shelby here. Still 25 HP from the beginning of the round. 30 seconds left to defuse the diffuser. And, well, you can see it right there on that double door. There's a castle barricade between him and Sight, and he's gonna have to funnel into Blue Bar, and with two attackers there being spotted. So definitely an advantage for Shelby, as the castle will be opened up from the Twitch breach, but Colonel is there for the refrag with the ACOG all the way back in Sauna.
Yeah, that was a very interesting round, to say the least. We weren't sure it was going to end out, but it looks like Elon managing to pull a 5-1 split, which is incredibly impressive, so that they only need now 2 rounds to close out this.
Yeah, Coastline is generally a frag-heavy map, so seeing 3-3 definitely isn't anything crazy, but a 5-1, I think on any map is quite the split. As long as Elon just stays fragging here, they're definitely most likely going to bring this map home.
Yeah, that's what I expect to see. However, it's Siege, anything can happen, and we're in one interesting place. We see an Ella right now, actually, from Elon here, which is definitely different than what we've seen, because we only saw Ella once outside only on round 1 of map 1, aeons ago, it seems. And we see a Thermite actually 6-picking onto a Nomad, which is a very interesting choice, expecting the heavy roam from the Jaeger, Ella, Alibi, and Legion, and Mozzie, all who have capability to do so.
Coastline is definitely a map where
Attackers
either
need to
you need a
locate
lot
and
of
defuse
claymores
as many
or
bombs as
Nomad
they
or
can.
Gridlock to really shut those rotates down, as there are very few rotates. Only 2 staircases, quick, easy air jab down on each, cuts off all rotations. That is, like we were talking about earlier, until Oryx is in the map and he can start jumping up some of those hatches. But right now, he's not in the game just quite yet. And Elon is going to try to close this map out with their first hold into hookah. Only one hard breach coming out from Stony Brook here. Definitely not anything crazy
10
on
seconds.
coastline, especially for hookah. You don't need that much hard breach. The only thing you
5
really
seconds
need
to
is to
go.
get that VIP wall open just to get some nice sight lines, and even that's kind
Attackers'
of
objective is to locate a
not
bomb and
necessary.
defuse it.
It's mostly just to scare people.
Pretty much. Really interesting shield coming out from CJ here in Aqua, playing on the hatch there in that tight corner. Default ahead, definitely going to have some camera, but the Perusian on the buck could recap. Well, no, he really can't. She's sitting on a reinforced hatch, so I mean, it's going to be down to Hibana to go underneath and open the hatch from underneath, and I don't know if she can do that. I've never actually seen her do that.
You can. It would be at least entertaining because I believe it also technically breaks the shield. But I'm also excited to see the silenced judge coming out from the alibi, which has me at least smiling.
Attackers drop the bomb diffuser.
Ooh, Batu again with an opening pick onto Nord. That's the Thatcher off the board.
Attackers recover the bomb
Last
diffuser.
game, Shelby was showing up as an opening fragger, but with this game, it definitely goes to a Batu with a bunch of those opening picks. You can really tell he's comfortable on coastline. Here we see a nice below hold coming out from a Batu Colonel. Trying to retake underneath office, but Nomad watching the flank, as well as Mandicamp from on top of courtyard there, looking down. A nice cross angle there. Going to be taken below as well. Batu
Attackers have
is going to be
located a
trying.
bomb.
Well, he's just going to hold steady. He doesn't need to take Aqua back. As well, Buck can't actually open up beneath the Ella. Ella's just chilling on the hatch.
Yeah, we're currently at a point where Elon has the slight health advantage here, especially with that person on the shield there, the Ella, that makes the Aqua take a lot more difficult than you want it to be. And I don't know how big they'll be leveraged. As Shelby starting to pop off, manages to take spits. And it seems like Stony Brook finally getting a foothold somewhere on this map.
Yeah, they're gonna have to start pushing side. They're clearing a lot of the roamers. I believe that was the player on Cool Vibes, so definitely some presence there. But I believe Ella's presence will be known here as Capital and Buck open up below her. Capital's flame bolts in hand can do some damage, but not before a Batu from Cool Vibes, from Blue Bar actually, is gonna find the frag onto the Buck. But Shelby in response with another frag onto Yummy, leaving it all down to Batu and CJ, both who are off site. CJ is gonna find a nice pick on the can't aim there, just barely finding the head. And while Shelby's moving up face here and is going to find the pick onto a Batu, leaving it all down to CJ, who is now stuck in Aqua. CJ has diffuser luggage, though. I'm not sure if CJ knows that, though. That was a very long angle and a very long frag as a Grismont goes off and he finds a frag onto Shelby, and it's now in a 1v1 against Mandicant, and he's just playing the shield. He's going to try to swing, but Mandicant is going to sit him down, and, well, even if you have a shield, doesn't mean you're safe. You gotta swing at some point, and, well, beautiful shot here coming out from the Capital. Concussed and everything. Just a nice pre-fire, nice crosshair placement.
That was just a very, very good effort on SVU swinging that one back around from what seemed like a losing position early, and especially at a health deficit. And I think that that shield was actually the death of Ella in that particular case, because it turns out you can see through the shield on both sides. At least now, as of, I don't know, 6 months ago.
Yeah, it's still kind of new, though. But it probably definitely would have been a
Look
little
at
bit
that
smarter to try to
12-3 score line from CJ, though. Holy cow.
Oh, what a fragger. He's definitely showing up this round. Ella being a little bit nerfed with this patch, still definitely fragging and showing up, though. Is the first few bullets still have very little recoil, and that fire rate is just ridiculous.
Yeah, that fire rate being ridiculous is definitely exactly why many
Attackers
people
need
choose
to
Ella, because
locate
the
and
gun
defuse
used
as
to
many
be
bombs as they can.
very good, then sucked, and now it's very, very moderately reasonable in this particular respect. And now we got no 6 picks. We have a Mozzie, Jaeger, Ella, Alibi, and Legion, all potential roamers. And on the attacker side, we have a Thatcher, Habana, Capital, Buck, and Nomad.
A lot of really frag-heavy ops coming out from the defense, and that's kind of to be expected on Coastline. It's like I said, it is a very frag-heavy map. Ella, Alibi, Jaeger, and Mozzie all being very dominant in the fragging field, though. Utility good as well, but guns, just a lot of them unrivaled in either fire rate or just damage output. Attack here still just trying to find a foothold. So far, this is only the second round Elon's attacking, but so far having no luck, as Stony Brook is starting to find a little bit of a foothold as they fight back against this 5-1 lead.
Yeah, and it looks like, well, it's a 5-2 lead now. Aha.
It is now.
Marginal gain.
They're getting there.
Yeah, and it looks like we have can't aim. It looks like we're just doing a hard push, like a 3-person push down to the small office downstairs near where Blue Eyes is. And it looks like they're fighting as hard as they can, with Ella fighting upstairs actually, as they do the underside hatch break.
Yeah, the more you know. It's like I can see the future. That's crazy. Ella, though, is going to be able to safely rotate out from there. No capital asphyxiation bolts coming out just quite yet. Still can do lots of damage. But now that shield and hatch is out, Buck can reign supreme underneath an office. Well, Shelby finds the first pick on the Yummy from top courtyard there, trying to open up quad wall. Abatu, though, Menace on the roam is going to be trying to find some sort of angle here. He's going to try to help CJ, who is now completely stuck in Aqua with 3 attackers on the balcony outside of his door.
Importantly, no reasonable frags. Deprussion's actually downed. I totally missed that. I have no idea where that is particular. But good effort, and that was a solid frag there. Missing the Ella, I guess, huh? I'm not entirely sure, but it looks like the Deprussion just fell off as Nor manages to get Colonel, as CJ is somehow still alive. In a very surprising turn of events. I guess the ADS ate it right before it exploded.
Yeah, it must have just caught it at the very... Deprussion back up, though, having a lot of utility with that crossbow in the hand. Ella dropping, though, and finding the frag on the Mandicant. That's the Buck off the board. That's a lot of soft breach gone. And, well, Elon now has control of underneath. You see the Grismont go out on office door, just holding that down. And what I completely missed that. Mandicant had diffuser.
Yeah,
CJ now just has to hold office.
Yep, and they know the hatch is open, so they just have to cover the hatch. Now everybody's just holding downstairs because they don't need to care about sight anymore.
Oh, this was a beautiful pick from CJ and a beautiful rotate from Spitz in a Batu to cover him. This could be Stony Brook's downfall. They all need to rotate and get diffuser back as soon as possible. Grismont will go off. Batu's gonna find one, though, and CJ finding another, not having to worry about each other's backs because they have each other's backs. This team play right now is amazing as a Batu finds another, and it's now down to Shelby, who has sight, but not diffuser.
Turns out, when you don't have the diffuser, the sight doesn't matter. Even when you have 14 seconds left here, I don't think that they'll actually be able to pull out the drop here, as they don't know where the Ella is. And CJ, pulling out the 3-piece, I believe, manages to clinch that round.
Yeah, that drop from CJ, dropping that diffuser in office was huge. That's probably, I'm not even going to say probably, that's why they won that round, getting that diffuser down there, and then the quick rotate to cover it too. By the time I even realized diffuser was down, they had already rotated and had it covered. Just a beautiful play from Elon there.
Yeah, and I'm very excited to see, because now we're on match point and tie point, because we love ties. I mean, I prefer the closer ones, mostly because that means we get to commentate more rounds, but do you think this will be a 7-2, or do you think it'll keep...
Ooh, well, last map went 7-4. We've seen a lot of similarities between maps, but I think after that round, with such a definitive win from Elon, they're probably going to have the momentum to close this round out, as long as they don't get too aggressive. And, well, we just saw on the scoreboard there, Elon with 2 people in the double digits now with frags, definitely stepping it up in the frag department here.
Yeah, now we have actually double ACOG with both the Goyo and Dog. So I'm excited to see how they manage to leverage those new fancy.
Yeah, service is definitely the site to have the double ACOG. A lot of really long angles outside kitchen towards sunrise, outside service, and even in the bathroom lobby. Just loads of long angles, and the TCSG just being a monster, being able to pretty much two-shot down an attacker as long as they're not super far away. And well, Coastline being a pretty close map, it's definitely going to do some
10
damage.
seconds to go.
Yeah, and also important to note that's their only flavor of.
5 seconds left.
Oh, that's unfortunate, eh?
Yeah,
Let me
the
read the
drone,
chat.
you hate to see it. It is a new wipe, so some bugs like that are bound to happen. But that,
Yeah, but what I was saying is CJ actually has the only reasonable way to make rotations outside of impact since they don't actually have a shotgun on the site. A normal traditional shotgun on the site, to clarify. So
yeah,
he has to use that to make the good old holes everywhere. As we see everyone just coming into sight here, and we see the good old bullpup instead of the other choice, which is rather interesting, as that is not particularly common these days to choose the bullpup for Thatcher.
the TCSG did actually get changed though in terms of destruction. Now the bullets, instead of opening one side of the wall, actually opens both
Attackers
sides
have located a
in a little
bomb.
bit smaller of a radius, but also hits beams quite easily. So definitely a pretty decent weapon to make rotations in sight lines. But it looks like Stony Brook is going to be going for a pretty standard service take here. So we see Capital and I believe Thatcher already outside service, trying to get some sort of take set up here. If this Goyo shield could be blown, Doc could be dropped out of the game pretty early. But in terms of attack, they have breach charges, grenades. This is possible, but they do have to deal with ADSs. But in turn, Yummy is going to find the first pick. I don't even know where that was from. I'm assuming that was from outside kitchen window, and that's Shelby off the board. Definitely a huge player last map. Not quite showing up fully this map. You can definitely tell Elon is well practiced on this map, shutting a lot of roams down as Yummy finds another onto Nord, but Mendicant is going to find the
Defender has left
refrag.
the area of
Nabatu is going to be
operations.
peeking outside his service, going to get lit very, very low. But thankfully to those stims in his pocket, he can just heal right up.
Yeah, now we're in a 2v4, and this looks like heavily favoring Elon in this particular case.
A bomb has
And
been
it seems
located.
like they're just going wild and going all the way outside here. As we see frags coming out from Mendicant, maybe trying to nab someone around the corner that isn't there. I believe that person is all the way across the other side of the courtyard. Yeah, checking from over from the IP side. Just rotates back downstairs to see if they can get any reasonable sight lines. They just get nabbed by Colonel who happen to be in there, and they have diffuser down. And that's probably the end of this one here, as we're in a 4v1 situation with 40 seconds left. Let's see if anything happens, and no, Spitz manages to take out the Prussian. So we have a 7-5 and a 7-2 split tie. So the rounds will end up slightly favoring Elon in this particular case, but overall a very good match and a very entertaining tie.
Yeah, a lot of those rounds, a lot of back and forth, just picks and repicks, and a lot of those rounds did come down really close. I know the second score line here didn't quite show it, but definitely some really strong fragging coming out from Elon on coastline. A lot, definitely. We definitely had the map picks switched. You can definitely tell looking back at it now.
Yeah, and I do apologize. It was 7-4 on the first map. I thought one more round was played. I thought we had more matches that we did.
No, we wish, we wish.
Well, do you have any lasting comments for the night?
Um, Not off the top of my head. All I have to say is Stony Brook did end up finalizing in a tie, giving them that 1 point, meaning they're tied with points with, I actually am not sure off the top of my head, but they definitely have the round differential on them. So they're in the top four in their division. So they qualified for playoffs. So if I was Stony Brook, I'd be sitting pretty happy right now. You know, they didn't do the best. They didn't quite take map two, but map one taking a lot of rounds off, being quite aggressive and really good. And in the end, they did get their point off.
Yeah, and I think that the biggest thing I'm excited to see, I forget if they deployed it this patch or not, is the new explosion propagation, which I believe was added with the whole system optimization. Don't quote me on that because I don't remember when that actually drops.
Yes, they did.
And yay, that's always fun. New things
Yes,
and
it
how
is.
fancy things work. And secondarily, I would like to thank our sponsors, as we don't really want to forget those people because those people are really important.
We love those people.
Yeah, we do. And you're gonna have to help me out on the ones I forget. But First off, we'd like to thank Corsair, giving us all some cool stuff. We have multiple giveaways that may have happened or will be happening using their various glorious products. We also happen to have the clothing sponsor. That sounds like a question that I
Yeah,
always
it
forget to think
does.
about because it's what's new is the clothing sponsor, which makes it sound
What's
like you're
new?
asking a
Yep.
question. But what's new, NEU, we will soon TM have clothing on store from for ourselves and for some of the teams currently who are
Seen
in our league.
seen some sneak peeks of it. It actually looks really clean. Definitely keep an eye out for it. It's I'm gonna be copping some myself.
Yeah, and the last one is our energy drink sponsor, which I unfortunately have forgotten the name of. I believe it's Rogue Energy.
How can you forget Rogue Energy?
Hey, I
Rogue
still pulled
Energy
it
has
out
the
of.
the best energy drinks. The powder is great. I love it. I drink it all the time. It's really good stuff. Of course, make sure to use code CEA at checkout for 10% off. And of course, Coinman is going to get himself some very soon.
Yes, very soon.
Of
Because what else are
course.
we supposed to do when we're all in our houses alone? Just drink energy drink. Make sure you get your homework done and play more Siege.
And of
Well,
course, tune in for CEA. We stream very often. We're going to try to up production here, so definitely do keep in touch. Um, but yeah, I think that's going to be us for
yeah, I agree. And I am Coinman1863, and with me today is.
Blue Card. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. We'll catch you guys soon. Thanks for joining us. See you later.